Howdy, everybody. Forgot to shave today. Up with a fuzzy bearded guy here. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know, my chat's working there, does it? I'll turn that off. So it's not clouding up the screen there. It's just blank, nothing. You right? Yeah, we are working today. We're going to look at Debian, and we're going to look at Debian, pretty much. Pretty much what we're going to do today. I'm going to go through the install process on it, since some people think it's a little hard. Not really that hard if you're writing pieces of information, that kind of thing. Yeah, so there's little tricks to it here and there, but overall it's not too bad, not too hard. Hardest part might be getting your drivers for your proprietary Wi-Fi adapter working. You may have to plug it in to get to an Ethernet cable, your machine an Ethernet cable for a while until it processes that. Once you get it up, then you can go and put non-free on the repositories and update it, app update, and then once it's synced up all the repositories up, you should be able to download, drivers for your more proprietary software stuff, things like that. So that's how you do that. But anyway, we will get into Debian and here in a minute, but we're gonna check in, see if people. Now, I don't have my chat cooking up here. That's part of the problem. And it seemed like it just decided it wasn't gonna do it. Probably need to set it up that way. I was hoping it'd go from one thing to another, but apparently I gotta go in and do this. I'm not gonna bother with that now. It also means I'm gonna have to go back over here, check on things occasionally, make sure everything's cooking, make sure nobody said anything or said something that I need to answer, questions, that kind of thing. So if I get into this and I don't see your comment for a while, that's why. So forgive me for a minute if that happens, but I'll try to remember to check on it regularly and then see if anybody's said anything in between screenshots. Right. Apparently nobody's on yet at the moment. By the way, I've had a few playbacks. One like, but nobody's in chat yet. And we're going to get on with it. Get on with it. Yeah. So, one thing I need to check on real quick. Yeah, it seems like I'm coming across pretty good on this sound. At least it's showing coming across. I assume it's coming out on the other end all right. So if that's a problem, let me know and I'll try to catch it and fix it. And let's see. Yeah, so I guess the next thing we'll do is we'll go to the website and check out Debian webpage and see what it's got up there. Alrighty. Let's go down here. Wait, there it is. Debian. Debian.org. Now people pronounce it Debian, and I've always heard it pretty much, and recently I've heard people pronounce it Debian. I don't know where they get that from or what the correct official pronunciation is, but sometimes the official pronunciation doesn't make sense to me either. So, yeah, most people I've heard of always call it Debian. I've heard people call it Debian, but I'm not really sure about that. So I'll just stick with Debian for now. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Debian. I'm talking about Debian, not Debian. Although they're almost the same thing, aren't they? Anyway, here's the website. I have community people, who we are, what we do, our philosophy, why Debian, user support, security updates, involve, contribute. You got more additional information about Debian community, more further downloads and software. project news, blah, blah, blah. Now, this Debian, we're going to look at today's Debian Bullseye. It came out on August 14th. Yeah, August 14th. So, yeah, it's taking me this long to all the way to November to actually getting up reviewing it. So, at any rate, it's updated, and they have some. Yeah, you can get into the user support and help and documentation about it. What's new on Debian? I know a few things, if I remember right. They basically upgraded and updated a lot of packages, of course. It's pretty standard when you get a new long-term support release in on the system. Use an updated kernel and that kind of thing. So, yeah. Also, I have a Sumatran coffee right here. My brew for the night. Most awesome dad cup. It's a Father's Day cup. I got one year and several years ago back in Texas. Back when I lived in Texas. So anyway, we got Debian. Now where I went down here to download. And here's where you can check out. Oh, it's going to automatically tell you to download this one thing, which is pretty much what I downloaded, which is a net installer for AMD 64. And I downloaded my Linux directory. You see I've already have it down here. So I don't need to download it again, but that's what I downloaded. I just downloaded the thing. But where I went to get that originally, because I don't think I went through this exact thing, is yeah, you can look in your release files. And official installers non-free software help for some network and video adapters. Yeah, for some official, so you can download. You do have if you're aware that you have a non-free proprietary driver for your network card, you probably want to go download this version of it, non-free software. And yeah, then you got all that. Now, release notes, that's if you want to learn what's all new in Debian. Bullseye and installation guide if you need that. And ISO verification guide if you want to verify your ISO, which you probably should. Alternate download sites and other releases. So we got all that information there. And so I downloaded Debian, and that's where we're at. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my script of the week until I get the installation cooking on Debian. Once I get that cooking in VirtualBox, and I'll go back over to the script. Take a look at that while that's updating and downloading and installing Debian on this virtual machine. So let's see what's in there. Okay, yeah. So we're in the startup Debian here. Virtual machine, we're getting 4 gigabytes of memory and 30 gigabytes of space on the hard drive. Okay, now you have a graphical install, an install, advanced options, accessible dark contrast install menu, and even install with speech synthesis if you wanted to. So I think we'll probably just go with the graphical installer. Install, I think, probably gives you a guided install with a text-based installer, I think, right? Try the graphical installer and see what we get here. It's a Calamar installer, probably. There we go. Alright. Somewhat cattle mouse like, but not quite. I'm not sure what kind of installer it says exactly. Anyway, continue. Yeah, English is correct language for me. Offices I'm speaking. United States where I live. Yep. Got that. You on? American English is, yep, that's right. And it's loading additional components. It seems to be following the installation, which means I might not have an opportunity to go look at the net installer because, I mean, at the script I was going to look at because I asked questions all through the process. You had to basically sit here and babysit it for while it's going through all the stuff. And it's checking out if it's got, it's all configuring the Ethernet cable thing. Host name Debian, we'll leave that there as default. Yeah, it works for me. Domain name, now that would be like if you had a domain on regular warehouse. I mean, most of you probably won't have an actual domain to plug on the end of this, but work groups or something like that. It's pretty standard. It's very network. Okay, now we're setting the root password. They have options here. Because if you leave this empty, then it'll automatically, the user you add on later on will be the one that gives the sudo ability. If you enter a root password here, then your root will be able to sudo in, but your user won't until you add them sudo group or add the user to the sudo file, which is not the preferred method to do that, but it works. So I'm going to leave this blank so that it should, yeah. This empty root account will be disabled and the system's initial user account will be given the power to become root using the sudo command. Okay, so we're going to leave this empty so we can do that. Okay, full name for new user. Rick Koppel, that's me. Rick is fine for my account name. Now I have to add in a password here. And amount and time is where I'm at. Checking my disk and loading up petitioners and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to use the guided use the entire disk, which is fine for me now. If you saw this on a real computer, you may have more than one disk here, so make sure you use the right disk. Usually it's SDA in Linux, but sometimes it can shift depending on what you got on your computer. Sometimes what you want to install on is the NDAV disk or one of those types of disks. So anyway, using disk setup LVM is logical volume management. We're set up encrypted logical volume management. So we're just going to leave it with guided use entire disk. Continue on. So yeah, that's the hard disk. The virtual hard disk we created 30.89 gigabytes of data there. Continue. Okay. Now here it says all files in one partition recommended for new users. Which is pretty standard. You can create a separate home partition or you can create a separate home var and temp partition. Now, I would tend somewhat create a separate home partition, but this is just a real small disk, and there's not much point in doing that since it's just a testing for our purposes here. So we're just going to put all the files in one partition and create it that way. Now on a real computer, of course, you might want to have where you have to create an EFT, and I think it'll automatically pick that up. I'm pretty sure it will. So here's what it's decided to do. It's giving me 29.9 gigabytes for my primary partition, and it's also created a logical partition for swap file. So I can undo those changes, or I can finish partitioning, write those changes to disk, or anything like that. Continue. You continue changes this will be written in the disk, otherwise you'll be able to make further changes manually. Partition tables of the following devices are changed, blah blah. And so it tells you what it is. So you want to write change to disk? Yes. Defaults to no, so you want to make sure you click that if you want to proceed with this installation. That's installing the base system. And it's installs that pretty fast actually. It looks like it's clicking away at it. It's just a base system, it's not your desktop environment or any window managers or nothing like that. And my son was asking me the other day what's the difference between window manager. Now there are some differences in the way that you will use it if you're just using window manager by itself. But there's also every desktop environment has a window manager in it. And window manager is usually your floating window managers for the most part, but you have certain ones that can be either script or extension or something added to it to create it as a tiling window manager, dynamic tiling window manager you want to. And like Linux smidge, it uses the Mutter window manager, as does most of the GNOME desktops and stuff like that. And obviously, since Pop! OS uses you can create dynamic tiling window managers out of that, Mutter can be made to do dynamic tiling if you so choose. You know how to do it. You can sit there and program it to do that. But Linux Mint, you can do manual tiling. It's not dynamic. You manually snap it to parts of the screen you want it to, that kind of thing. But most people just pop up, scoot things around, use alt tab switch like Windows, switch between the different screens. It's pretty much Windowish in that sense when you're using floating window managers in Linux desktop environments for the most part. Okay, now here we are. Okay, scan your installation media finds labeled Bullseye official 64 and so now the option of scanning additional media for use by the package manager app. Only should be from the same set as the one you booted from. If you don't have any additional media, that can just be skipped, which we are going to do because we don't have any additional media. Scan for no, so we make sure no's clicked over there, it's default, and we hit continue. Now we're going to go. This is not to tell what country you're in, but it's to tell where the mirror that's going to do Debian from, pull Debian repositories from. United States will want, closer the better. You don't want it off in South Africa or some foreign place like that. It's a long ways off from where you're at. So you always want to pick the country you're in, United States. And deb.debian.org is one it's defaults to. That's fine. It's a good choice, it says. It's usually a good choice. And so we'll leave that there. Now, this proxy information, we don't have any proxy, so we'll just leave it blank. That's if you have a proxy in your internet service you need to be able to get out. in order for it to get out. Now it's going to figure apt. And once it figures that, it'll probably start processing package managers, that kind of thing. Okay, system main option. Okay, this is kind of a popularity contest. They're saying they're wanting you to participate in a survey type thing. Use this survey, not that you have to actually go fill out a survey and stuff like that. They send data from your computer to them, and you participate. And the default's to no, interestingly enough. So you have to say yes if you want it, and then click continue. Otherwise, you say no. Yeah, run a script once a week, sending statistics to distribution developers. It tells you where you can look at them. All very transparent in that regard, so it's not bad. We're going to do that. I probably would do it normally, but since I'm not going to have this on here very long, I'm not going to do that now. Here we have to choose what software to install. This is where we got options here. Mate, which I heard somebody recently pronounced mate. Sort of looks like mate, doesn't it? But I've always heard it pronounced mate. LXDE, LXQT, Cinnamon. You can create a web server out of this, or SSH server. In other words, a server that you SSH into from another computer. Cinnamon, KD Plasma, GNOME Flashback, which I assume is an earlier version of GNOME. And GNOME is the default one that's selected now. On the other computer, last time I installed this version, which was yesterday, I tried to put Cinnamon on it, but it had Mate chosen as default. I don't know why, but there you go. So I don't know. I'm thinking about checking out KD Plasma. And yeah, usually it's a good idea. You can install more than one desktop, but sometimes you get more than two on there and you start to get confusing because there's a lot of cross applications that show up in each other's menus on in one or the other. That get confusing, and then some don't run right in the other desktop environment, that kind of thing. So I look at KD Plasma because I thought it'd be interesting to look at. Upsearch. And then yes, standard system utilities. So that's what we're going to do there. Nation select and install that software. Desktop environment we're using. Yeehaw! Now I noticed whenever I installed Sim yesterday, installed GDM I think it was, which is a display manager. Display managers display your login information. That's pretty much all I do. The system, once it finishes hand login updating or upgrading, no, I'm not saying it right. The system, when it installs and you log in, you boot up into it. That's what I'm trying to word. Boot up into it. You boot up into the system, then it will at some point it hands off display manager. Display manager displays login, hands off to the desktop after you log in. So anyway, GDM is one display manager. It's a GNOME display manager, standard for GNOME display manager. Now the one that's standard for KD Plasma though is SDDM, which is simple display manager. And I can't remember what the acronym exactly stands for. It's something like simple something display manager. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, I'd be interested to see if it uses that, if it installs that display manager, because I'm installing KDE on this, or if it installs GDM anyway, because it's going to install GDM no matter what you pick. Which, to me, really doesn't matter that much which display manager you use. They basically all perform the same functions. They get you on into your desktop if you want. Whether it's Window Manager desktop or a regular desktop like KD or something else. So, yeah. It's probably the longest part. It's going to sit here and install software and process all this thing. Then we can go ahead and actually look at the script over here. It shouldn't take too long. Now we have the script here that I have, intro sh, and it's basically my intro that I have when I used to have as intro, now I have as just my outro. But this is the program that I use to run and create it. And basically, it puts in, and then it puts GLGG across the screen like that. It's kind of that way. And then taking that off. And then I'm looking at Then I'm looking at check and see if there's anybody in chat. Then I'm looking at this is said I have it set up so that you use E, which allows you to use escape characters and echo. So I clear the screen and echo down to about center of the page and wait 2 seconds. The new lines, slash n stands for new lines backwards slash n. Then I set up some variables here. This displays the whole thing. This displays the excuse me. This displays the acronym, and it tabs it and creates a new line. Tabs it out further, puts the L in there. New line, tabs it out even further, puts G, tabs out the longest one, puts another G in there. And so it gets put, by the time you're done, you have N, L, G, G across here. Then this one puts a tab and spells out not. Then A. Then Linux, guru guy. So then this do loops here basically take this variable as I1 and displays it. Now to do that, and so that they don't jump down to a new line and stuff like that, you have to put EN in there. Dash EN, echo dash EN, because that allows you to escape characters. So I get some water in my throat. My throat's not doing right. Gotta get escape characters in there. And those escape characters. Yeah. And what it does is then it'll put it with, it'll stack each one on the end of the other one. Instead of putting a new line on the end of each one and kicking down another thing. So the interesting thing here is that in order to get this, here's where it prints out the acronym, and it takes I1, prints it out, that's acronym part. Then it jumps it back up to 5 lines, the cursor. 5A 033 bracket is a kind of a code, backslash 033 code bracket is code for, okay, we're going to give you some directional stuff. It's not meant to be printed out on the screen, print, but to move things, do things. You change colors with that. You know, the code for the colors, that kind of thing. So it tells us basically to move 5 lines back upwards. Sleep 2 seconds. Then it fills out the acronym with full text from the variables, and it'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down to guy. Then so here's where it does 6, and it moves down to display space, waits 15 seconds for a new program. Ta-da! So by the time you do, you have not a Linux screw guy spread out, spelled out across this screen. And that is my, it was my intro, now it's just my outro. I have a different intro for this. Clock with knowledge, screw guy. I need to change it, but it's a lot of work to make that whole thing, so I hate to change it. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so now, so you got this here, and now we're going to show you how it works. Control H, it clears it, puts down there, and N, L, G, G. Pops back up there. Starts spelling it out based on that. See, it gives half a second delay between each printing of the letter, so it looks over like a typewriter typing out some guru guy. And it'll sit at 15 seconds till it'll finally kick out of the thing at the end of it. You're about ready to go check out the yep, still cooking over here. See what I told you? So we had plenty of time to look at that script, but anyway. Yeah, it's busy putting all the network managers and speech dispatcher and all this stuff in here. So I'm still cooking on that. It'll take a while, but I think this is toward the end of it, of the process here that we have on here. Let me go back and check and see if we have any comments or no comments yet. Just 2 likes. 2 people dropped by and said like. Thank you guys, whoever you are. And it'd be nice if we had some viewers to chat with, but if we don't. We'll at least get through Debian here. See what we got when we pull it up. Yeah, Debian. Yeah, you can like, subscribe to the channel. Be cool. I think I'm pretty much just going to do live streams for the time being, because I've been writing a lot in my writing process, and so I've had difficulties trying to find time to actually do YouTube videos like I used to do them all the time. So I always get one a week this way, but that's why I started doing my reviews of these things here. Thought it might be interesting to see the installation process. A little bit different than Calamaris installer. You can download a version of Calamaris installer to install your Debian distro on it. Probably defaults to GNOME or XFC or one of those desktops, but so if you want a different desktop, you don't have to use a net installer. One reason why this is a little slower to install, because it's got to download all the programs it uses, plus unpack them and install them, all that kind of stuff, instead of just pull them from the ISO that you have on your disk or whatever, your USB flash drive. So yeah, Debian is a pretty good distribution overall, and although I've had my fights and within the past. Actually, it's the first distribution I ever tried to install. Linux distribution. I got discs at the time because I was back in the days of modems and no pictures. That fun stuff. And it took forever to download. It was all that like days to download Debian on through the modem. I think it had a max speed about 56 kilobytes a second or something like that. So yeah, you imagine that. Okay, we're getting close to being done here. And all info. Yeah, it's down to the last parts, installing documents and things like that. Cleaning up. I like to say cleaning up. And select, now we're in select install software. Exactly. Yeah, that's where you install the software you want. So it's installing Grub. Okay. It seems this new installation is only operating system on the computer. So what this is before it installs Grub on here, wants to make sure that you don't actually have another operating system on the desktop that didn't pick up. And so it wants to know if you want to install Grub bootloader to your primary drive, which is the one it'll list here in a minute. So you say yes most of the time. Most times it's correct. Then there's no other operating system. There's empty virtual disk, so we continue. And that's one. That's our only hard disk we got on here, virtual hard disk. We want to install Grub bootloader there. That will boot it, allow it to boot into it. And we do this, and that's going to install the Grub bootloader. So that's doing all that. Finishing the installation, it says. Yay. Means we're almost done. Getting close to it. Yeah, here we are. Installation is complete, so it's time to boot into your new system. Make sure to remove the installation media so that you boot into the new system rather than restart the installation. You don't have to worry about it on virtual drive. It automatically does that, but even if you have it on there, it doesn't boot into the new system. So now it's going to finish installation. And here we're at the Grub bootloader. That's bootloading. That's going to hand it off to Display Manager once it finishes with that. Mark card. Okay, let's see what Display Manager pops up here. Yeah, it looks like SDD and Plasma. Yeah. So we do that. Put in our passwords we put in. And away she goes. Now it's in putting Plasma, it's loading that up. It should load in, I think. There she goes. Okay, it tells me we have a wired connection. And so I need to change screen size on this because it's like weird. So which is running slow because it's probably processing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes or something. Okay. Display configuration, yeah, that's what I want. And yeah, for some reason picked out 124 by 768, but I know it's actually 1920 by 1080 display. Oh man, that's what we'll choose for this. Hit apply, and there you go. Cool. Okay, while we're here, we'll go and we'll change power management. So there's no screen saving. And yeah, I guess when power button is pressed, one to shut down the computer. Another thing you gotta do to get this actually, yeah, up here, workstation, I think it's called. The settings, workspace behavior. And then you gotta go down here to screen locking. And then you can take this, take that off, take that off. And I think that's what works. Apply that, and you're done on that part. That'll keep it on the screen so it won't just disappear on us all of a sudden. So I don't do something. So anyway, there's your menu. Let's see what it installed exactly. See what it comes out. Okay. Now this is kind of confusing menu application. I see. Select that. The graphics. I hate this menu. I hate menus where you gotta click back and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna change menu. As you can on KDE, you can right click on this and you can show alternatives. And then it's application launcher, application menu, application dashboard. Cascading pop, that's what I want. Cascading pop menus. Switch to that. Yeah, it's more Windows-like, as well as it's just easier to figure out and see what you got here. Take, calc, Kfind, file finder, Kmag, Kmouse tool, Kmouth. I'm not sure what Kmouth is. Probably has something to do with the speech synthesizer. Knotes, Kwrite, spectacle, sweeper, source of system. Termit, console, which is a KDE's main terminal, and KDE Partition Manager, and Info Center, and Dolphin, and Discover, and Apper, whatever Apper is. The Info Center, see what it says we have on here. I'm assuming that it's going to be actual info. Alright, so according to this, we got KDE Plasma 5.20.5 on here. Right there. And we have UT version. Kernel version is 5.10. Not the latest and greatest, but not too bad. Better was, I guess. or actually I think is about the same. They did upgrade the kernel according to their release notes, but I'm not sure what they upgraded it from. I know I have 5.10 on my Debian base Neptune, but Neptune may have added that in there too, so yeah. And then you got that graphics processor is LLVM pipe. Anyway, you got your network, SAM interfaces, graphics, OpenGL Wayland, X server. Wonder what that has. Wayland, name and display. This is OpenGL graphics processor. Wayland, positive information, name and display. And X server, which is probably what it's using on here, I assume. Anyway, add settings, system settings. Your science, math, LibreOffice math. Office, it's got LibreOffice on there. Looks like the complete Impress. Calc, draw, math, writer. But no, what's that? Organizer, mail, Kmail. Going to use that. I probably install Thunderbird on here. That's what I use mostly. Multimedia, Dragon Player. I'm familiar with that. Guys. K3B. I don't know exactly what all those do, but I imagine the Dragon Player obviously plays videos or music. Probably saw my preferences on there too. Got Firefox ESR for its browser. And yeah. So let's see what because down here utilities, I think it was. Yeah. Dolphin. Discover. Discover's the application software thing. Most of these are all the same pretty much. They display for options. Select and install them. So there's usually a search function here, right up here. And we want to install Kitty. There it is. There it is. So install it. Now you have to put in your password. And it's downloading, installing Kitty. Soon have another terminal emulator on my machine, which this is my favorite basically. Plus it's cute. Kitty all. Yeah. Oh, hi, Steve. And Vince. And good to see everybody. Yeah, I finally looked up here and saw all y'all talking. There's some. Oh, well, sorry, you can't say Vince. Anyway, yeah. Nice of you to drop by. And Steve, is good to see you again. And Peter's not here, I guess. He was here last week, but he probably had some stuff to do or take care of, things like that. Yeah, he's a busy guy sometimes. Yeah, and plus he's got some issues I think he's dealing with as well. Probably takes up his time lately. Anyway, we have we're looking at Debian 11 here, Bullseye. It's gone on a testing version, now it's in stable version, sort of. I remember there's one spot on the website where it said note, warning, or something like that. It said the stable version. You know, it's a stable version. There could be still bugs and some of the stuff. So I don't know what that's about, but it's they're covering their own rears or whatever. So yeah, so yeah, you turn on later there. Kitty, 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 kitty. Let's see. Installed. Setting. Okay, now you do have the ability to do updates on here. Since the net installation, probably there's not any updates to do at the moment. That's Discover, the software manager. And Maybe straw, ocular. Those are some of the programs I have on here. The GNU image manipulation program, or GNU, GIMP, they say. And there you go. That's pretty much it. There you can get your add shortcuts to your Dolphin and your system settings right there. And Kate and Discover software we just looked at. So down here they have Conquer, their web browser. Once you use Conquer, apparently over Firefox, install Firefox on here. They put Conquer as one in here, Dolphin, Discover, and your settings, some settings. Over here is standard Windows-like panel. Over in this section, they got all your status bar, volumes, most recent device connected, which is the installation ISO that we put on the virtual machine, and wired networks. And here's show hidden icons. I don't know how many hidden icons I have anyway. There's the time, date, and show desktop. That's like the Windows basically show desktop. You just click that and all your desktop goes whoop. All the windows disappear and you show your desktop. Now let's check out the wallpaper here. And I got a wallpaper. It's kind of nice, but I want something different. What we got? Okay. There's all kinds of different Debian styled wallpapers there. This one looks like it's got the best one, but you can get new wallpapers to see how well this works. Get new wallpapers. Loading more. Oh, now that's interesting, isn't it? Insect Manus. Here's beach and ocean. Not bad. Birds, beach, ocean. Yeah, blue flower like that thing over here. You got beach and ocean here. But a lot of beach and oceans. Flower, zoo. I want to see if I can do a search on space so I get. Space 1999. Remember that show? Yeah, if you're alive in the 70s, you might remember that show. Okay, abstract space. Well, interesting. And not sure in abstract spaces. Well, we went down. So, well, this one's nice. Planet, space, sky, Earth, screenshot at. Not too bad. We'll install that one, so we'll have it. Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah. Can you get nebulas in here, I wonder? Now that's weird. Like people standing on Earth. So anyway, that's how it works. So when you're done adding all the things going on there, then you go down here. You click it and apply. And there we're out in space. That's very nice, I think. So yeah, pretty cool overall. So you can get extra wallpapers, you can get themes that way, as well as other scripts like you want a dynamic tiling. That's one of the things about AD Plasma is that you can look at, you can get a script for dynamic tiling on it. And where you go is you go to settings, windows, window management right there. And you go to KWin scripts. KWin is window manager for KDE Plasma. And you go down here to get new scripts. And just like you say, get wallpapers, it'll do the same thing, it'll pop up. And you probably want to put dynamic tiling in here. Or just tiling probably works as well. Okay. I think I spelled tiling wrong there. Yeah, we'll just spell tiling. So tiny there, I can't hardly read it. And two L's in tiling, I guess. Well, there you go. And what I'm looking for specifically is crown die that I've used before. It works pretty well. There's a few things about it I don't like, but overall it works pretty good for dynamic tiling. So you select, if like say this is it, you install it, then you close, and then you should be clicked. Click on it and then on the script, and then it activates it. Hit apply, boom. You have dynamic tiling going cooking on KWin. How you do that? Any questions, anybody? But if you don't want dynamic tiling like floating, you just leave it as it is. But you usually turn it on and off if you want to just come to the script thing. You can unclick it if you want it off for a period of time or something. Or you can just try it for a while, and if you don't like it, you can unclick it and leave it there. So, yeah. It's kind of cool in that regard. And let's see. What else can we show you on here? Yeah, Debian's pretty solid system. And thinking about installing the Cinnamon version on my wife's computer actually out in the thing, because I'm going to have to reinstall it to I think I may have goofed it up when I was trying to install Brave browser. I think I went back and found some instructions and saw some stuff on there that no longer applies to Linux Mint and that kind of thing. So I think I may have goofed it up, and the easiest thing is just to reinstall something new on there rather than try to. I want to keep the same desktop because I know that will make it easier for her since she's already used to the Linux Mint desktop, Cinnamon desktop. So yeah. That's what I'm doing with that. If anybody has any questions or wants me to show them something else on here, I'm not sure what else to show, but I think this is pretty much it. I kind of like it pretty much. KDE is a nice system. A lot of people get confused by KDE because they go down here in the system settings, and it's confusing. And it is confusing to a certain degree, especially if you're not used to it. So much options, so much thing you can do, so much thing you can change, like like I just showed you with window management, that you get confused. But most stuff is pretty easy to find. And I'll show you a trick, see if it works in here like it's supposed to. Yeah, if you start typing display manager, yeah, you just have to start typing and put it up there. Up in that's the time. Oh, it's a good speller today apparently. Okay, you run display command line. System settings, you can go right there. And there's the other things you use. System information, server waiting, OpenGL, all that kind of stuff. That's the cool thing about this is that you can just start typing and you get this thing pop up there and you just a search on all the different things, functions. You can go to any system setting you want. Like say you want to say like you want in Power Manager. Power Manager. And then now this is one of the funky things about it. It's called energy savings. I don't know why they do that, but yeah, it's not called Power Manager, and except it is, and I mean it is if you go to here, but then it's got. I'll show you what it means. Okay, it's got Power Manager down here. Power Management. But then when you click on this, it's got energy savings. That's what you have to click. You have to know to go there. But it's pretty easy when you click on Power Manager and you see, you just start taking things off. So it's called energy savings, which is a little confusing for some people, but yeah, activity settings and enhanced settings, advanced settings, Power Manager settings. But I've never messed with those. I just always go on here and saving, click that off. I guess you can run a script. You can do wireless on-off things with that. Power management on wireless. All sorts of weird stuff. But you can ignore most of the stuff on here, until you need it. And then you gotta hunt it down sometimes. But yeah, your network, hardware. It's not too bad overall, but there are things like the lock screen. It took me a while to figure out where that was at. It's up here in workspace behavior. And then it's called a lock screen instead of a screensaver, which I was used to on Cinnamon. And yeah, it's got general behavior as well. But there's like a single click to open files and folders. I don't like that, so I'm going to choose double click. Because that's what I'm used to. That's what most Windows people are used to. And apply. And you have desktop effects. Yeah, you can invert things, invert the color of the desktop of Windows, mouse click animations. Snap helper helps you locate the center of the screen when moving a window. Track mouse, looking glass, magnifier, zoom, and background contrast. A lot of different things. That's the thing that people get confused about, is there's so many options on here that they go, what? But really, you just ignore all that pretty much, and you can just use it out of the box pretty much like Windows in that regard for the most part. I mean, there's differences here and there, but it's not too bad if you don't look at the settings too often. But yeah, if you need to find something there, it's not too hard to find if you look. around. There's a couple of things, like I said, that I had problems with, but anyway, yeah, you can run any program there. Say, like, I want to run LibreOffice Writer. Type writer in, K-Write, LibreOffice Writer, boom. Opens up LibreOffice. It's supposed to be 7.0, I think, is what the version they said they had on here. And there you go. And it is 7.0.4.2. So that's that. The Alt F4 should clear this out. Yeah. Yeah, it's got standard key bindings for Windows. Alt F4 will shut down Windows, that kind of thing. You can change your key binding. Now, one thing that I always had problems with KDE is the key bindings. Now, yeah, you can just put it in shortcuts. And it'll take you right to the settings saying where your shortcuts are at. Now, there's Dolphin, spectacle, system settings, those kind of things. But yeah, so if you wanted to, like, say you wanted to change your close window from F4 or add another shortcut in there, like we can put Q. Now it'll tell you MetaQ is already assigned to show activity switcher of plasma. Do you want to reassign it? Yes, because I don't care about activity switching. I don't use that. I don't think that way with activities. So I know it doesn't work for me that much. Just kind of focus more on that, but anyway, in MetaQ, you add that. Now you hit apply. Now I should be able to close this window, hitting MetaQ. There it goes. Bye-bye. Yeah, so that's cool. And we have, let's see what else. We have shortcuts, yeah. Like I had a script on and stuff like that. I don't have any scripts in here to add on, but whenever I added a script to the menu and then I tried to, yeah, how you do it, like if you had to have a program, like say you had an app image on here. You wanted to do that. First you have to add it to your menu for it to show up on the shortcut menu. Do that by right clicking on this. Edit applications. Then you go here, you figure out where it's going to go, like say, oh, let's say you had this unique browser you want to put into your system. And you click it here and you say, add new item. And you have it where you want it to go. And we'll call this browser silly browser, I guess. Okay. Then you have a description if you want to put a description there. A comment in if you want to comment, and then a command. Just say we'll call it silly browser. Be the command line. Of course, it's not going to pull anything up because there is no such thing as silly browser. I just made it up. But anyway, then you go over here and you can enter a shortcut key here or enter wherever. Or you can enter it in the settings where we're at by clicking. I'll show you that in a minute, but yeah, I got Kitty and I'll put Kitty in there for you. You can see what happens with that. But anyway, then you put like a, so what we call this? Called silly browser. So you want to put as a browser key. You click on that and meta B. And you save it. And now when we click on meta B, it should say I can't find that file. Or it doesn't do anything, one of the two. It just sit there and stare and go, what? Yeah. Oh, off to get your son? Okay, Steve. Take care. See you later. That's alright, Steve. Make your thumbnails. It's cool. And also, yeah, everybody who reads this and watches this, go check out Steve's stream on Sunday mornings. And his Sunday Kalash. Kalash, is that how you pronounce it? Clatch? Something like that. And yeah, check out Steve's stream. He does good live videos like I'm doing now, but probably better than I'm doing, so you never know. And anyway, so yeah, I thought at least give me an error message. I can't find silly, but it doesn't show anything. It may just be because of that functionality. Anyway, that's some of the problems I have with KD. I don't know if it's because of that, because it's not a real thing, but we can try one more thing. Shortcuts. Go back to where we're at, shortcuts. And we can, what you do if you want to add an application is you go down here, add application. Then you go down here. Now, if we wanted to put that in here, we click on internet where I put it, and we put it in here. Silly browser somewhere here. Silly browser right there. Yeah. You put in, you click that, and then put silly browser in, and you, but we're gonna put, oh yeah, Kitty, that's right. So we gotta go down here. The system, I think, the utilities wanted to put some. Let's see, Kitty. There. And there's Kitty. Okay. Add custom shortcut. Meta return. Apply. Now. Not working anymore. Meta return should open up Kitty. There it is. Kitty, 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 kitty. Cool. So there you go. That's Debian. That's how you put in your screenshots, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can go there, look and see what they have. Some presets. Find out what those are there by looking at shortcut menu. Yeah, Katie's pretty nice. And so they have a pretty good system here, I think, for the most part. Got a real thing. You can put stuff in there. So I guess that's what we'll have for today. We'll call it a day since everybody's gone pretty much. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next time on Linux Force be with you until then. Bye.